Everyone has begun to gather in the parlor. Tobias has again continued his hype speech. Your brother has helped to get all of the men excited to see all of this. The women tend to kind of stay in the back of the room, still allowed to obviously partake in whatever is going to be shown here, but not needed for any business discussions or anything like that. So they've kind of gathered off in the corner, each with their drink in hand, paying very little attention to what's happening, not really caring all that much about these strange contraptions and all of the workers in this room that are just sweating and making the place smell a bit ripe. Where would we find Blanche at this time as they start to gather for this display?
Um, when she realized that that was the next place they were going, she would have made sure that a servant took like one of their best and most sturdy chairs
Mm.
into the parlor for the Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and would probably be doing last minute checks to make sure everybody has refreshment, and then would stand out of the way because this isn't really her part of the show.
Nina kind of comes over to you and grabs your hand. This is going quite well, I think.
It certainly seems to be.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to say a little prayer for the men in our life and hope them for success, of course.
Of course.
Tobias stands. Gentlemen, ladies, I'm very honored for you to be here today. I'm about to show you very few have had the pleasure to see, but I have no doubt in time the entire world will want a glimpse. This is your chance. Today I'm offering a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to live forever. Not as a painting up against the wall, not written as a story within a book, no. You, living, breathing, walking, talking, living, to be preserved until the end of time. I have created the ability to capture what it is to be human, what it means to have experiences, what this world truly is. It would give me great pleasure to begin today with the very first piece of art that I've done in this exact location, in the gardens just out back, with the wonderful Astor children. Gentlemen, if you don't mind, reel number 1. The lighting gets dark as the workers begin to fix the film, tightening the spools, and slowly it starts to churn. The fluttering of the film stock begins to appear on the screen, and after a few moments, the very first scene, only a few seconds long, of Astor, Nina, or of Blanche, Nina, and Elijah walking around the garden. The silence kind of falls on the room. The women in the back stop talking and look with a peculiar eye towards these moving pictures. Sir James leans forward in his chair and you hear it kind of creak. He scratches the little stubble on his chin, reaches over and grabs another handful of whatever he has on his platter and shoves his mouth. Begins to chuckle a bit. This is quite interesting. Indeed it is. Tobias looks, kind of tries to read the room. The other 3 seem interested, but not quite sure what they're looking at. Perhaps a little longer. Gentlemen, reel number 3. They begin to remove the original and in rapid succession, place this next one. As the film begins to sputter, it's now sitting on top of a hill, looking out over a field, and it sits there, and you can see the wind blow like waves across the field of what you would think to be lilies. You don't see the color, but you're familiar with the place, the large fields of lilies. And it almost begins to dance, this swirling wind across the flowers, the trees moving in the distance. We all have paintings like this in our home. But they're static, never moving. We do not feel the nature in them. But can you hear it? Can you hear the wind rustling past as it just breezes across the flowers? The rustling of the leaves in the background, the chirping of the birds up above. Can you smell it? The fresh scent of the air? You are living it as it was the day it was recorded. See the doctor kind of lean forward a bit and stand up, kind of nods his head. He reads the room. Tobias reads the room one more time. Gentlemen, please enter reel number 5. And again, as the workers have, they begin to pull the reels, quickly wind it up, put the next one down. It begins to spin up, and you see that you're standing, appears to be on a sidewalk. It has a group of men standing off to one side, all dressed in standard business wear. There's a train track off to the left, and in the distance you can see a bit of smoke rise up. And after a few moments, you see something dark on the track, and it begins to come closer and closer, almost straight at the screen. And with a moment, a train is blazing towards the camera, and it speeds right past. The 4 men in the front back away for a moment, unsure. Is this train about to bust through the wall? And Blanche, you notice the Duke, as he pushes back, he immediately grabs his chest and clenches. Begins to breathe heavily. The doctor notices this, no longer paying attention to the film on the wall, rushes to his side as the Duke heavily falls out of his chair onto the ground. Elijah stands there almost panicked. What just happened? What does Blanche do? Blanche?
Oh, I was muted. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I would have called for them to turn it off to the workers, and then I would be kind of ushering people out of the room who aren't the doctor.
The workers immediately flip the switch. Tobias kind of looks shocked by this and unsure what to do, just kind of looking over the room. Nina quickly gathers the women and helps to escort them away. The men hesitate for a moment, but Elijah kind of takes them by the shoulders. Gentlemen, please follow me to the lobby. Well, a few more drinks. Allow the doctor some space. Within a couple minutes, the workers have all cleared out, and the last of the guests begin to leave. You look back as the doctor has pulled the buttons of the Duke's outfit apart and is beginning to do chest compressions on his chest.
Can I attempt to use my magic to help stabilize him?
Sure. Tell me what you're doing. You got magic? Just how would Blanche attempt to stabilize him? Like, what kind of magic are we looking at?
Well, everybody is out of the room now except for the doctor, who is very focused on him. So, I would grab one of the, like the fabric napkins, and dip it into into water, like a glass of water that somebody had, and would go over and, be like kind of mopping at his brow and whatnot. And while doing that, would try to focus my energies on him without saying anything. I'm hoping that the touch would be enough.
Okay. As you get close, the doctor kind of looks at you with a bit of a puzzled look, but notices the wet cloth in your hand and kind of just gives you a nod, doesn't say anything, continues to do chest compressions. As he does, the heaving belly just kind of wiggles like jelly, even in his stiff kind of suit of armor. Yeah, let's go ahead, and I'm going to say this is a... Let's see. What are we thinking here? Yeah, this is going to be a change the game.
Okay. I went with blood is thicker and stability. And cast magic spells.
Okay. Any weaknesses? As you try to save the life of this jolly nobility?
I don't know that there's one that really applies.
Okay, yeah. No worries. I don't have any specific ones here.
Hey.
So what kind of magic is it that's stabilizing him? Is it like a I'm guessing like a healing magic or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. I imagine that I've done like little things, like if I managed to cut myself in the garden, but I've never done anything quite this big.
So as you brush across his brow, you feel a bit of warmth kind of leave your thumb and rush across his head, which is now quite very, very palmy or
clammy.
Clammy, yeah. Wow, palmy, very clammy. And as you do, you notice just a slight hint of that sparkle that you kind of recognize just glisten on the sweat of his brow. You sit there for a moment as the doctor continues to do compressions and leans his head down on his chest, goes up one more time, and with a second push, a loud gasp of air, begins to cough, opens his eyes and sees you there. Blanche, my dear.
You gave us quite a scare.
Goes to push the doctor away. You can tell he's looking over the room, expecting the room to have been destroyed by a large, great metal beast. And seeing that it's not, kind of tries to sit up a bit weak. The doctor goes to kind of help him, but again, he pushes his hand away. No, I'm fine. As he continues to breathe, you hear movement back behind you, and you look as Tobias and Elijah rush into the room. Sir James, you're okay. Your brother kind of goes to your side and goes to pick you up. Blanche, thank you. And tries to start pushing you towards the door.
Of course.
We can get it from here. Just please entertain the guest for me. We have to handle this.
Of course.
As you leave the room, they close the door behind you, and you start to hear Tobias apologizing. After a couple minutes, you hear the door open once more, and the doctor seems to be pushed out of the room. He kind of spins with a bit of anger, kind of looks to his wife and snaps his finger, and she begins to make her way towards him. He looks towards you, Blanche, shakes his head, and they begin to leave out the front door.
I will walk them out. I'm nothing if not gracious. Doctor, I apologize for that abrupt behavior on my brother's part. We are. Our relationship with Sir James goes back quite a long way. I suspect he was more shaken than he let on.
He doesn't respond. He just kind of grunts and makes his way forward. The driver sees them coming and pulls their cab up. He helps his wife in and he slams the door on their cab quite roughly, and they begin to ride off. The leave has caused a bit of a commotion. You can hear light whispering kind of coming from the galley where the rest of the guests are, and they all seem to be kind of looking towards the room, the parlor room, just talking amongst themselves about what might be happening, what happened in there. What was that? A bit of confusion about what was just seen.
I'm gonna go in and, excuse me, try to settle things. Reassure them that Sir James is just fine and it was just a bit of a scare and he'll be all right.
The banker, Brinley, kind of looks towards this. Do you plan on wasting our time the entire day? Or can we get on with this?
Don't understand what you mean.
Well, I do believe that we have been called here to see a display of some things. We've seen a few displays, and now it appears we've been shut out. So, would you like us to continue to stay? Do you plan on us having to wait?
Not much longer, I'm sure, and I think they're just allowing Sir James to get his bearings again.
Of course, yeah. Is there not a room you could take Sir James to? Perhaps he could use a bit of a lie down, and the rest of us could get on with our day.
Let me see what I can do.
As he's saying that, his wife appears to be a bit ashamed at her husband. She kind of just looks down and away from him, kind of takes a step back away from him. As you get close to the door, you can hear the volume of conversation has lowered. There's no longer loud apologies. You can just hear vague tones of people talking, but you can't quite hear what they're saying through the door.
I will knock as unobtrusively as I can.
After a few moments, the door opens. Elijah stands there. Yes?
Your guests are getting antsy and demanding, and the doctor has left. It seems you insulted him.
He was expecting payment for his services. I think he had every reason to leave. We're almost done in here.
Everyone wants to get back to the viewing, or told that they can leave.
Give Tobias a few more moments to speak with Sir James. Perhaps give a tour of the gardens, and once you're done, we'll be ready for them to view the device. I don't think we'll be displaying any other films today.
Very well.
Thank you, sister.
Of course.
Take your time.
And I will turn and go back to the people gathered and offer them a tour of the gardens so that they can get out and have some fresh air while the machines are set up and taken care of.
They reluctantly agree and begin to follow out. Again, there's quiet conversation amongst themselves, and it's starting to get a bit nitpicky. You're familiar with, overhearing conversations but keeping it to yourself, but they're definitely starting to try to point out the flaws they find in the house and Why is she not married yet? How can they be living together with no parents? Those kind of rude things that are whispered amongst the upper class. But with an earshot to possibly push those buttons just a bit.
I will be doing everything I can to remain as unrattled as possible.
So as you enter into the gardens, we transition back into the West Slums, where someone was just shot, fell off a roof, and almost landed on Georgie. Luckily, she got out of the way, and Eric got up and over the fence, but did catch a glimpse of what appeared to be a scope or lens catching sight of you three. You're now in the West Slums. There's a few other gunshots back behind. This gunshot has caused the constables to kind of duck down for a moment, and they don't appear to be looking over in your direction, more towards where the shot came, but the sound of the body may have drawn their attention. It's just unclear if it has yet. What would you three like to do?
Book it.
Yeah, we probably want to get the building here, between us and the constables, so that they don't see us and come chasing after us. But yeah, we need to move.
Okay. So, go ahead.
Before, do we recognize the body?
So as you look down at the body, they look to be just a normal civilian.
Somebody we saw last time?
No, not anyone you saw last time. It's a middle-aged man, kind of has a Spanish look to him. You do notice that he has a holster on his side. You don't see a weapon. You do see that his skin appears to be quite, it's not bruised, but the veins are very spider-webbed kind of across his face and his arm, but it's unclear if that may have been from the fall, just a blunt impact of the body against the ground. But yeah, he just looks like a normal civilian from the West Slums. If you want to spend a bit of time to try to investigate, you might be able to get some more information, but that's all you can get just from a glimpse.
No, I'm good. We gotta move.
Let's go.
All right. So you go back behind duck around the building, this apartment building, and begin to make your way kind of down the street. As you get towards the edge of this current building, you look down the corner and you can hear that the fighting is becoming a bit more intense, kind of out in the street in front of the next building. There's the sounds of pistols being shot off, and now you're starting to hear the sounds of yelling, almost commands, orders, people yelling back and forth. Most of the yelling appears to be coming from the other side of the street, but you do hear gunfire coming from your side of the street.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so they're firing from our side of the street to the side of the street that we want to get to.
It's firing on both sides, but you're not hearing any yelling from your side. You're only hearing yelling from the other side.
Got it.
We should lead a resistance.
I say we let these people sort their own shit out, because I don't want to die today.
Yeah. Can we discern what they're yelling? Just out of curiosity.
I'm gonna get you, you bastard.
Basically, without spending too much time here, it sounds like orders. You head up to that corner, you head over there, take the shot now, get down, they're firing.
Okay.
Does the voice sound familiar?
It's two different voices, primarily a voice of a female that does sound vaguely familiar.
Oh, fun. Sounds like our friend is organizing a nice little beat 'em up here.
Really shoot them up, really.
Well, you can beat people up with bullets.
I mean,
Semantics.
yeah,
we can get
that's a
around-
technicality. I feel like just staying out of this is a great idea. Like, I kind of feel like go to this other building
Yeah.
and then just try to get across. Because the red X is where we want to go, yeah?
Yeah.
So as you all begin to make your way across the alleyway, you hear another gunshot. And just as William gets past, you see the constable that had been called over lean over against the wall and kind of slide down it, a bit of red across his chest as he kind of lays there, and he sees the last of you go by, and he tries to raise his hand up.
Shit. I just got that dude killed.
Do any of you stop, or you just keep going?
I think, well, if I saw it, I would probably stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was as you were crossing across that alley, you
I'll
hear the
stop.
gunshot, and you see the constable stop holding his gut.
Jesus.
I'll stop and
Oh.
Like, it's not his gut spilling out, he's just holding his stomach where he was shot.
That's even worse.
True.
Those gut shots are not good.
no, they're not fun. That's for sure. I mean, is there any way we can help him?
He
can
doesn't
pull
appear
him.
to. He's not dead. He's just injured. So you might be able to get to him. He's reaching his hand out to you as you're passing by the alley, kind of asking someone to just come help him.
I got it. Oh no, I don't.
A twofer. Oh boy.
Oh, man.
All right, as I go out to help an officer of the law, I'm doing a good thing.
So-
Skip this
Carry
one.
him back.
So as
That's
you
what I'm trying to do.
yeah, as you go to pick up the officer, let's roll another D4 here.
I thought I was imagining.
No,
No, there's no imagining the pain.
Thomas is
Ah, son of a bitch.
Oh, no.
go ahead and roll me 2d10.
Great.
All right, we got a 3 and a 6.
That might be okay.
All of a sudden, the officer turns into a giant lion and eats me.
His entrails come
Okay.
alive and attack you violently.
It was an illusion.
So this might be difficult for you to answer. But Thomas has granted you something that your historical knowledge is giving you an advantage of that helps the current situation.
Oh Lord.
So it could be either something related to the constable, towards what's happening, or I would say even towards your understanding of the West Slums and maybe a better way to get to where you're going. But yeah, as you go over, again, who knows why this happens, but you go to reach the constable to help him up. You have a brief recollection of, I know something. What is it that William knows that will help them in this current situation?
William remembers reading a medical textbook.
Okay. So you remember knowing how to treat gut shots based off of the old wars, because this was a frequent injury of these old wars. So as you see the injury, you recognize, okay, I know how to do quick battle treatment to get him at least out of here so that he can be better helped. So
Yeah.
as you reach your arm around him, pick him up, there might be a brief recollection. You actually recognize this constable. This is Stuart Scully. He was one of the constables you dealt with a long time ago in the old boroughs when you were investigating the original crime. He was He was the one that had arrested William at first or had arrested Mike at first before the inspector showed up. Kind of a skinny guy, a little bit older.
Before
Long time ago. Back when you were
Timothy did
investigating
the
the
touch.
body on the side of the alley.
Oh, he's one of the people that
Timothy
Hawk gave
helped.
the
Yes.
yeah.
Yep,
He gave
was one of
them
those weird
gave him
pills.
morphine addiction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Indeed.
This poor guy.
It's always in the wrong place at the wrong time, huh?
He got a free hit of some kind of medicine, and now doctor's gone.
Doctor is gone. As you pick him up, he's just kind of limp with the pain. Where do you try to take him? Do you try to just move him in the back alley, or are you trying to take him back to
Yeah,
the
I'll
other
move him.
constables?
I'll move him back around the building because trying to go down the street to the other constables is a bad idea because we're not supposed to be here.
Okay. And
So
then
we're
do you like rip off your sleeve or anything like that? Do a quick wrap, like give him something to press up against his stomach.
I'm gonna use his uniform. of
Okay.
mine, because it's already torn anyways, so I don't think he's gonna care.
All right, so I'm gonna say that this is a go toe to toe. Give yourself a +1 with the historical knowledge from Thomas. Thomas has been kind today, it seems.
Thank Thomas.
As you try to stabilize the constable. While he's doing that, what are Eric and Georgie doing? You watching out for him, or are you trying to get a better eye on the scene?
Yeah. I would have turned around, like, where the frick is he? Like, oh, Jesus, what is he doing?
He's not gonna eat that cop, is he?
Right? I won't lie. That is first instinct at this point. Please don't eat anyone on the job.
I mean, you
Leave
know,
the personal business at home.
You know,
So
we're
we've
gonna
seen
go.
hauling the cop around, and does he look like he's trying to help the guy?
It does,
I mean,
yeah.
you see. All right. I'd like to go there and try to assist him. Then, I have a help point for him.
Okay.
So,
Same.
Oh, good, because that's gonna help. Because I'm gonna use my weakness, thirst for blood.
So
Oh,
are you
goddammit.
applying? Are you applying pressure as?
Yeah, I'm gonna use super speed and history teacher, because I both know about gut shots, and I know I can probably help.
Woo. Party in this
Oh.
corner.
But I'm gonna use thirst for blood as a weakness as well. So. And then what is that? That's a take a risk. You said.
That's go toe to toe
Go toe
to
to toe.
control
All right.
his
Oh,
blood flow.
snap.
Let's not kill this guy.
No, don't
he's
do
dead.
it.
He's dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Game over.
no. Oh no.
It's
Oh,
still
no.
a 7. So it's not
Yeah,
all
it's still
that bad. So what? Yeah, you can get all 3. Is this really another? Oh boy.
What?
You serious? What's going on?
Thomas brought friends.
Oh God.
Dear.
Are they moving the country? What's happening?
I'm not sure. There's-
They're relocating entire Californian towns. Is what they're doing.
I-
So I can choose all 3, or
yeah,
I can.
So you can either choose all 3. Well, I guess technically you would choose all 3. So you managed to stabilize him, and then you gave him a status of stabilized.
Yep.
Mhm.
Shut up!
Go away.
Thomas is very active today.
Very much.
We don't want
so.
you anymore.
We've had enough.
Maybe Blanche will actually have something happen because of Thomas for once.
It's the entire Thomas clan.
Give me another D4 roll there.
God damn it, Thomas.
I think Thomas has made more rolls than anybody else tonight.
I think you're right.
Damn it!
Oh my God.
Always you.
All right, another 2d10. All right. Let's see. We had 10 and 2. Oh no.
Oh no!
When the storyteller goes, oh no.
Yeah, that's
I
cannot be a
I
good
want to say ahead of time, I did not plan on eating the cop.
So, William, as you press the tourniquet and you get him stabilized, there's so much blood on your hands because this is a gut wound and those things bleed heavy. And you feel that hunger rise. You haven't fed for a few days now, and there's been that twist, and you don't want to. You want to be the good guy here. But I'm going to need you to face danger to not give in to your beast instincts. Now, I would say that since you're there, Eric, you might see something changing in him to possibly be able to help him not
Yeah,
fall
probably.
into...
Can we grab him?
If we're talking about actual help points, I'm burnt out on those.
I have one. Oh god, here, take it.
Okay. So,
I have
Georgie, you may not recognize exactly what's happening, but you feel something strange go over William, like his eyes flash with anger or hunger. You're not sure what. And maybe you're the one that noticed like his canine teeth begin to grow just a bit. And for whatever reason, you try to grab him. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to say this is take the risk. We'll say take the risk for William to not sink his fangs into this copper.
Hold on just a second here. I can burn a tag to prevent me from murdering this guy, right?
Yeah?
So... screw it. I'm gonna eat him.
Oh,
Face danger? No, go toe to toe.
Take the risk.
Take the risk. I can't nail anything
With-
today. Okay. With a +1 for the helps. So I'm gonna use Indomitable because I'm gonna will myself not to do it.
I'm better than this.
Oh, look at you go!
Yeah.
I'm much better than this.
Damn, you are.
you feel that anger, but you know, like, you've been past this before. This is not an issue for you. So while the beast that still lives very deep inside you tries to break free, you are its master now. It no longer controls you. And with that, your teeth kind of click back and you sit back, maybe pat Constable on his shoulder, but are able to breathe. Just then, a loud boom, poof, sounds like a shotgun goes off from across the street, and you start to hear again the sounds of crying out, and through all of it, you start to pick up the cries of the people that aren't yelling. There's children in the windows crying out for their parents. There's mothers crying for their sons. While the war breaks out on the streets, there's utter sadness within the buildings that surround him.
Oh no. The children. The children must be helped.
Do you continue your way down the back of the streets trying to get to your location?
Not me. I gotta help the kids.
It sounds like every...
Yeah, but where would they go? If we got them out.
I'll get them out and I'll take them places.
Well, we barely got in here.
What,
in
like
one
the
piece.
zoo?
I have to save the children!
Oh my god.
See, you're asking how William's going to get the children out. The question should be, who's William going to kill to stop the violence to get the children out?
I mean,
The children must be safe.
oh god.
The children don't have to go anywhere. Stilt has given me a new idea.
Oh my
no!
god.
Oh no!
No, it wasn't me.
And so I'm going in the back of this building here.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm gonna kick down a door and we're going in the building.
Oh god.
As you enter in, you find yourself standing in what appears to be an empty apartment building. People have lived here in the past, but it's just dusty and broken furniture. There's not much going on. You're able to see out the window and can kind of see a little bit of what's going on. On your side of the street, there's 6 men that are all standing kind of in 2 rows that have pistols all raised and are just consistently firing almost at the same time. It looks very much like the old rifle brigades where it would be a fire and then reload, fire, reload.
So they're in the building across the street?
They're
or-
standing out front of the building in the street.
Out front,
firing
okay.
across the street.
Oh, I see them now. I was typing. Oh. Okay. Well, good thing their tokens are already dead men. Because, I'm sorry, guys. You might want to stay here, but I have to protect the children.
There's no kids in this building.
Find them. Put them in a room. Keep them safe.
Fine.
gotta help him out.
Right. Let's go. While he's doing that, I guess I'll go in. And are there stairs? Like, is this multi-story?
As you come out of the front door of the apartment now, you find a few stairs. It seems to be about 3 stories up, maybe 3 or 4 to 6 doors on each floor. From what you can tell, it doesn't seem like there's no one in the hallway right now. Everybody seems to be locked back in their doors. The sounds you are hearing appear to be people that are just cowering in their houses, trying to avoid the violence outside.
We have to keep the people safe. That's why no, the children are in danger, so I'm going to protect them the best way I know how.
Well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm going out the front window.
Oh Jesus! Here we
Jesus.
go.
So
Okay.
as you get
Hey,
close,
remember BB, how you said this was not a clusterfuck yet?
so as you get close to the front window, you hear the occasional thump and crash of bullets landing against the wall that you are going to, and as you peer out, you can see a group of other members across the street that are all hunkered down behind wagons that have been turned to their sides, barrels, boxes, a variety of bunkers that are just firing at whatever they can. They seem to be scared, fearful of these 6 that are in front. And as you look, you see one of the 6 get shot in the shoulder and react to it, but immediately raise their arm back up and continue to fire.
Okay. This is gonna be fun.
Oh.
I'm really sorry, guys. Like, out of character, I'm really sorry, but this has to happen. So,
Fair enough.
William's not gonna let the kids be in danger for some stupid thing that he probably caused. So, I'm gonna stand up in the window and demand this violence stops.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
We hear this, don't we?
What do we hear you say?
Stop this violence now, or there will be consequences for everyone.
Okay.
There are families here.
Are you trying to just use your words, or are you
Oh, I'm gonna make myself
using
intimidating.
some powers,
if possible.
your ability to compel, convince?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vampire magic.
I mean, you're trying to stop a war with words. And
That doesn't work.
I
gonna.
feel like this might be a stop holding back to really put your mythos into it, because you've never really tried to compel anyone before, let
With
alone
words.
a crowd.
So yeah, how does that work? I've never done it myself. I've seen it done.
So stop
we're
holding
going-
back. You would roll with your logos. I definitely think this is a significant cost to convince all these people from the strange voiced in the fog to stop fighting for whatever they're fighting for. So on a 7 to 9, you would mark fade or crack and burn all the power tags on one of your themes. On a 10 plus, you would just mark fade or crack on one of your theme. On a 6 or less, you pay the price given for 7 to 9, but you also lose control over your powers or fail to use them as planned. The MC will decide how and what the consequences are.
I'm really sorry, guys.
I'm not sure I believe you.
You might want to
So-
run.
As Eric and Georgie are in the process of like trying to find the first door they're going to go to save people, you hear a crack that draws your attention. What exactly does William say? Just stop the violence now?
This violence must cease now, or
Okay.
things will be much bloodier.
All right. Well, let's see
How do
how
I-
well this works as you stop holding back.
So I just roll. What do I roll?
Plus your logos. I believe that's 2.
So just 2d10 plus 2? No, what is it?
2d6 plus 2.
2d6.
You should have a stop holding back move, I believe, on the cinematic moves.
Oh, there's a tab there for that.
There is.
Holy Christ. I didn't know that. I didn't know I could click that button. Here we go. Stop holding back. E.
Okay. The gunfire stops. You see the 6 figures in front of you lower their weapons, still standing, staring across the street, and you start to hear people across the way yelling, "Who was that? What? Who goes there?" And eventually you hear a familiar voice, the voice of Yasmin, speak up. "Who makes demands? You do not sound like Samuel. Who are you?"
I am a man not to be trifled with.
You still
This will
yelling
end.
from across the street.
Uh-huh. The kids are in danger. This will end. Now.
Kids are always in danger as long as they are allowed to remain on this world.
And the kids are in danger as long as you're here. How much longer do you want to remain in this world?
You see a figure walk towards the middle of the street. It's Yasmin. She's holstered her rifle and she comes to find who's speaking to her. Sees it's you. Doesn't recognize you, but sees the figure yelling. You truly don't know what the threat is here, do you?
I'm here to protect the kids.
You need to look there. And she points down the street further from where you are, off towards like the road. You can see one of her men wearing the tattered kind of clothing, but with the patches on their body, are laying in the street. There's a puddle of blood around their body. And you see their hand kind of twitching. She looks back at her men. You know what to do. And all of her men turn and train their arms at this body. The hand grabs at the mud, begin to push itself up, and as it does, you can see that the intestines are kind of down on the ground, but they begin to move back into the stomach as if they're being healed by some force. And as it begins to stand, she snaps and they unleash on it, and the back of the head just explodes. The body falls down once again. The dead do not stay dead here, and they only wish for more. So, stranger, whoever the fuck you are, if you know how to stop this, then I'm all fucking ears.
I mean, any ideas, guys?
Oh god.
Oh, now he asks for an opinion. Ah. Wow.
I mean, I could clearly behead everybody. It's no big deal. We just kill everybody who's a threat.
We need to get to the source of it.
Yeah.
One way or another. I don't know how we do that.
Right.
Well, where did it start? And that'll be where it ends.
Who are you asking?
What's her name? Where did it? Jasmine. Where did this start?
Come, it's not safe out here. He will get them under control once again. Quick, with me. Now we will speak. She begins to go across the street to a building that looks similar to those of you that would have been watching. It's their building, the building of this gang that she had come out of before. Do you follow her in?
If he's going, we gotta go. I mean,
Sure.
Yeah.
Grab the officer. And we'll go in there. I mean,
Do you go back out to grab him?
is he gonna be a zombie and eat my face?
That's what I'm asking. You're in the building.
I
right
guess
now.
I'll find out.
and are
Yeah,
there
I'll
kids
go.
in this building too?
There are kids in the building you're in, yeah. You can hear them crying, but you also hear the sounds of moms trying to console them, and again, you hear mothers crying for their sons. It's families that are in here trying to hide.
Not much we can really do about that right
So-
now.
So I'll just shout back, "Stay safe. We'll be back for you. Just stay hidden
Inside.
inside. Don't dead. Open inside."
Oh my god. Alright,
And
so
then
she
We'll
across the
grab
street.
the officer and then we'll
Okay,
go.
so as you grab the officer, you do notice that there is a figure moving down the same alleyway that you had before. It is the same body that had fallen off the roof.
Oh shit.
Oh,
You
This
pick
is-
up the constable real quick, and the four of you begin running across the street. The men and women there that had been fighting across the way part as Yasmin kind of ushers you inside. Just as the door closes, you feel a cold rush of air kind of make its way down the street. And almost just as soon as the door closes, you hear a single pistol shot go off. And just like that, a spark seems to go once again. This time, it's only coming from the other side of the street. And it doesn't seem to last very long, almost one volley of rounds before it falls silent. And you start to hear him outside saying, "They're leaving! They're going!" You look out the window from this building that's pretty much been cleared out. It's a large open space with a variety of beds and couches kind of moved around, a living space with some barrels for heat. And there's probably another 15, 20 people of various ages in here. Some of them armed, some of them not. All of them seeming to be part of this gang, wearing, again, patches on their clothing. Most of them showing signs of battle in the past. But they don't seem to be very experienced warriors, just ones forced into a fight. But you look out the window and you can see the group that had been firing have now kind of turned and begin to make their way up the street, down out of your sight. Yasmin ushers you over to a corner where she has a bit of a desk set up. She doesn't have any chairs to offer you, but she sits at the edge. She looks. I don't know who you are, but if you are able to... If you're able to get them to listen, then it's probably best I listen as well. What are you doing here? Who are you?
Me?
You're the one who led this charge, man.
Okay. I'm William, and we're here for what's his name? Oh, the Nadiv guy. Yeah. We're here to find the source of this corruption, I suppose. We think it has something to do with Nadiv.
I'm afraid I've never heard of anyone named Nadiv. No, all of this. This is Samuel. He's the cause of all this shit.
The guy that was standing on the water barrels
She
when
looks.
we fixed the well?
Wait. She kind of starts and sees your true faces.
I'll rip the wig
You
and
were...
cloak off. Ta-da!
It's you. Fuck. Told you not to come back here. No, that was us with the water barrels. Samuel's the fucker that keeps the dead from staying dead.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Have you ever had to kill anyone you love?
Couple times.
No.
I have. Over. And over. And over fucking again.
Ow. Ow. Well, tell me where this Samuel is at, and we can end that.
I mean, that wasn't really an answer. I mean, no offense, but I mean, how do you know that it's him? I mean, have you seen him doing this?
Me?
We've seen his shadow. We've heard his whispers. He is not ashamed to mock us in our time of need. It is not unknown. He does not try to hide his work. He only hides himself. If we knew where he was or how he was able to do this, we would have taken him out ourselves.
That seems an impossibility. Can't even take out his soldiers.
I think what he means is this seems like a pretty strong fight. I mean, why is he only now raising the dead? This was not the situation that we had.
Now? Where are you from? This hasn't been happening for... Now this has been happening for years.
I was unaware, and I just live across the way.
It's not something we can explain I can't even explain how you just did that. You yelled and we put down our arms. So how any of us would be able to say that our brothers, though we have buried them, are now fighting against us and shooting and trying to kill us time and time again? How anyone would think that would make sense? Explain that to me, stranger. How do we explain this to anyone that is not here, living it, fighting it? Would you believe it if I told you that your dead would reawaken? No, it doesn't make sense. It is an impossibility. You can't explain the impossible to strangers.
Let's see.
And it sounds like he's making thralls.
All right.
And this has been going on for years?
Yes.
Do you know who this Samuel is, or is that just like a name he goes by, or a name that's like a stage name?
Like many names that get passed down, twisted, I am not sure. As what we have called him for as long as I've been fighting. As all of you stand here, you take a moment to kind of look across the faces, and there is confusion amongst all of them. They don't really know what they're fighting. And you don't see any elements of mythos amongst any of them. They have no way of explaining how the dead are not dead. It boggles their mind. They just know it as a fact. Those they've buried, they are now fighting again. But you do feel like you are amongst a group of armed, frightened sleepers fighting a completely unknown enemy.
Normies.
Hey, I'm practically one myself.
Yeah.
Normies. Ugh.
Ugh, such a rude uncle. All right.
His
But,
fighters
oh.
just come. They appear in groups. They fight and they fight and they kill and they get stronger. And since the outbreak, they have gotten even more strong. We were hoping that the citizens would join us to fight with us, to stand with us, to drive him back. But you made sure that would be an impossibility.
All right, the water. Well, we're here now.
I don't even know who you are. I know who these people are. They are my family, my neighbors. This is my public. We live in a strange place of sickness, of death. Even the trash men won't come up to pick our garbage anymore. Our streets fill with blood. Bodies rise again. You seem strong. But even I am unsure of what can be done about this. If there were places for us to go, we would move, we would take all of our families with us. But this is our home. We cannot sit around and allow our loved ones to be used in this way.
I can understand that.
Yes. Are they dead before they are turned? Or has something affected them?
She reaches inside her vest and she pulls out a locket, kind of holds it up to her chin. They're dead. We don't. There's two faces amongst that crowd that I keep saying. The face of my father and of my husband. My father, he died 3 years ago. Old age. Just heart gave out. Saw him for the first time with a shotgun pressed against the head of a boy, maybe 14 years old. And I didn't know what to do. I hesitated. I didn't pull my gun soon enough. And killed that boy. And he looked to me and he didn't recognize me. It had the face of my father, but it wasn't him. That's when I saw it for the first time. This boy, his head gone, stands up behind him, now whole again. All I could do was run away. I told my husband about it. He thought I was crazy. Started drinking. Time seemed to kind of slip away, and I pushed the memories away as if they were just nothing more than a nightmare. But the night my husband was taken from me, that's when I knew there was something wrong. I heard the shot. I never expected it to be him. I know I saw him fall. Robbery gone bad, I thought. I went out there to try to help him, but he was already gone. Had him buried.
Where?
Blackyards.
Do you
Which
have
you
a
would
map?
know is the pretty big cemetery that you'd gone to before. Out with the mortician that you saw the body at. The big like fields and fields of graves.
What's his name? The mortician, yeah.
that guy.
Parch Faddington.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It didn't matter though.
Was your
'cause his
father
home-
buried there as well?
No. Buried my father and just kind of looks. We buried him in the back. We didn't have the money for his body to be transported there. My husband still had some. Didn't matter though. Because he came home. He wasn't alone. It's the first night. She kind of stops, recognizing she's kind of talking for a while.
I was just gonna let her continue.
Yeah, I'm gleaming into information. Jesus Christ.
What is it you guys can actually do for us, though? The police, they haven't done anything. We have fought for so long. I'm simply tired of fighting. What is it that you can do?
Speaking only for myself, I'm not sure what I can do, but anything that's in my power. I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
There's there might be a place where you can get more answers.
Aye.
You can tell she's beginning to look at you, hopeful. But what she wants to say is a closely held secret, so she wants a bit of proof or evidence that the information she's going to give you is going to actually be useful.
I would just say we didn't know any of this when we came in here before. We just thought we were coming in here to help to stop this spread of disease. We didn't know what we were doing then, but it was a problem that we solved, and there was really nothing in it for ourselves. I just ask that you consider that. I know it didn't have the effect that you intended, but without us knowing all that information, there was no way we could have predicted the turnout.
But why come here? You don't have family here. Why did you care if no one in the city does?
So who's got the flyer?
I don't know. I think you were the one that was going through the chest, so maybe it's you?
We didn't take a flyer. We left everything there.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
No, well, that doesn't fit any. So I'm. How do I say this? I'm really terrible with words.
What are you trying to say?
Well, we were following the creature, for a lack of a better word, here, or trying to triangulate a position.
It led us here.
Yes, it led us to the insert bar name here.
And the name Arnold Thalman.
Yeah, Arnold Thalman.
Thalman? Yes. No, I know him. Johan! Johan! Come here for a moment, boy. After a second, you hear some movement, and you look behind there, and there's a 16-year-old boy. Comes up. He doesn't appear to be as battered and bruised as the rest of the members there, and he only has a single patch on his vest. he kind of comes over. Yes, Yasmin. Arnold Thalman, that was the man you had seen killed that night, correct? Kind of looks at you all and looks back to her. Yeah? Tell these folks about it. And as he turns to face you, you notice that his necks and his arms have kind of large scratch marks on them, kind of some scabs from old wounds. I was walking home one night and heard a fight. I went and I saw Arnold there, and he was fighting this other guy. He was winning. It seemed like it. He got the guy down on the ground and just give him a good show. But the guy, he I don't even know how to say it. He ripped out Arnold's throat. He lashed out of him with his teeth and just chewed it out. And I ran, and I don't know what that was. I came and I told Yasmin about it, because I know the Sova, they always, we always protect ourselves. And he kind of looks to her for permission to continue, and she nods. But she said if I handled it myself, I could join them. She looks to you and kind of nods. So I went home and grabbed the only weapon I could, just a sharp piece of wood, and I went back there. And this guy, he was covered in Arnold's blood, just covered in it. And I jumped on him, and I was trying to cut him and stab him, and he just kept throwing me off. And his teeth, I remember his teeth, they were sharp. It looked like a dog. I don't know, but he got on top of me, and it looked like he was gonna tear out my throat. So I shoved the wood into his chest, and he died.
And then you dumped him in the well.
No, I didn't. I buried his body. And then I came here and I told Yasmin that I buried his body out of town. And
how did you get the body out of town?
Oh, I just carried it. He wasn't that big of a guy.
Big enough to rip out a man's throat.
Are you sure that you're being completely honest right now?
Oh, I have no reason to lie.
I'm gonna put my hands on his shoulders and get down eye level with him. You can tell us the truth.
Looks over.
No one here is going to blame you.
Looks over to Yasmin, and Yasmin kind of steps forward. What?
So,
What are you all saying?
well, you asked why we came here in the first place, and it was to cure the plague, but we found the source of it was the body, man, that we found in the well, which we got the body disposed of and purified the water coming from that well. We followed the track of it. We saw the signs of a battle in the alley above. I don't know if it was an alley, it was plaza or whatever. There was a well up there anyway, where it had been, where the body had been dropped into. The body was the cause of the sickness, and I'm sure you didn't know that's what was going to happen when it happened. But if you drop that body in the well, this would be a good thing for us to know right now.
Asmund moves over towards him and grabs him pretty sharply by the shoulder. Johann? What did you do, boy? Yes, no. I'm so scared. I didn't know. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I'm so sorry, Miss Diamond. He falls down on his knees. I didn't know it was gonna make everybody sick. I didn't know. She turns to you with a sharp glance. All right.
Not, if you allow me one more question. We also found something else, where the signs of the, fight. And I pull out my notebook where I had sketched in that owl, that stylized owl. Do you know what that is?
She looks at it and she releases her grip on him, and she begins to unbutton her vest a bit.
Whoa.
She looks at you sternly. She pulls down her vest kind of over where her heart would be, and branded into her skin is that same symbol. She puts it back up and buttons it. That is us. Sova. I told Johann to leave our symbol as evidence of the kill. We hadn't had time to confirm his kill. But Johann, you made it sound that this person was like Samuel's beings, but that does not sound like Samuel at all. That is something else entirely. Look, I'm not sure what brought you here, what that thing was, but I can only point you in one direction. She goes over to a desk and she pulls a key out and unlocks a drawer, opens, pulls out what appears to be a wallet of sorts. As I was saying, the night I saw my husband come back, they were fighting someone. He was strange. He stood on the rooftops and he was wearing this strange armor and mask across his face with horns. He almost seemed to be an owl. And he he fought them with everything he had. But they took him away. I found this. And she lays it down and opens it. And you recognize that while it might be older, it is a badge of the Order.
Saw that coming.
Not surprising.
I
And so
asked around about this man, and I think he used to live or work or at least come from the White Chapel at the edge of town. Many sightings of him standing on the roof. So Samuel seemed to want him. That seems to be where he came from. That's where I would go if I were you. I'm afraid I'm not sure who this other man was that came in to fight. I've never seen any of Samuel's followers rip out the throats. They prefer to shoot, stab, or wound. I've never heard of anything like that before. But if you can help us, we would be truly grateful.
I certainly can't speak for anybody else, but I'm willing to try.
Do what we can.
we do what we must.
But I think we might need a little backup. So we shouldn't do this right now.
She kind of looks high. I understand. We'll continue fighting. I will let my men know that if they see any of you coming, you are no longer banished. You are welcome here, and to offer as much aid as they can.
Thank
Can
you.
I
Quick.
have the badge?
It's... You might need to convince her to give... It seems to be a symbol of their leader, almost like a religious artifact in a way. So if you wanted it, you might have to convince her to take it.
Quick question about the badges. Do they have names on them, or is it just like a badge with an insignia
They
of
do.
the order?
As you get close to look at it, there is the name Marine de Mesnildo. And I will put that in the chat for you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna sketch it into my notebook. One of these days, somebody's just gonna be named Steve Smith. Nobody's gonna believe him because it's just... Oh, he's got a normal name. He can't possibly be evil.
But he's the end boss after.
The end
The plant
boss,
god.
Steve.
Steve! Dastardly Steve!
Damn you, Steve!
So...
What happened to Thalman's body?
We had him buried in the back of his house as well. I haven't seen him. Have you, Johann? He's like wiping his face off. No, I haven't seen him again. He didn't have any family that we know of. He had been working out of town or out of the slums for a while, I think one of the factories, but had been let go from what I remember.
Can you give us a direction to his house?
Oh yeah, it's right building next door, second story, number 3.
I think perhaps that should be our next place of investigation, and then we move on to.
I think we might want to get our resident sorcerer to join us for
Yeah.
this. Our sorcerer supreme. Have you found any way to? I know you say that these bodies, they keep coming back. Have you found any way to keep them permanently down?
The more separated they are, the longer it takes for Samuel to put them back together again. But find a full way to stop them. We have cut off their heads, we have shot them in the head, we have lit them on fire, we have hung them, we have drowned them. We have done everything we can think of, but the faces just keep coming back.
Okay. William, are you gonna do a convince to get the badge, or are you just okay with the sketch?
No, I don't need the badge. We have the
Okay.
name, so
Cool.
Yeah, I think the name was really.
That's fine.
Yeah.
there's no need to take their holy object.
Okay.
Not until turn 25. It's okay.
Right.
So I think
maybe
we go
should probably-
reconvene. Yeah.
yeah, let's get out of here. We need to reassess the situation, get Blanche caught up.
We'll research this name.
This name, the dead making more dead become undead to join them, and the bloodsucker is a whole different issue now.
Yeah. I mean,
And
at least
so-
we know what happened there.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a page out of the notebook and write down the address to the pit and say if they really need anything, send a letter. May
She
seem
kind of
like a
looks
strange
at it.
place, but
Looks up the same
Will-
fucking garbage yard that won't even pick up our trash. Why are they gonna help us?
they won't. But it's a convenient
will.
place to have my mail sent for things that.
What are your names? What do I call you?
I mean, do you guys want to name yourself? I'm William.
I'm Eric.
Georgie.
And I am Yasmin. I wish you safety and expedited travel. Because as the more of us die, the greater Samuel grows. So be quick about it.
As quick as we can.
So as you all kind of look back, you notice that the constable's been sitting there and has pulled out a notepad and has been writing down a large amount of what's been talked about over the past 5 or 10 minutes. And he kind of notices that it's about time to leave, and you see him try to slip it into his pocket, but it still hurts really
Nope.
bad, and he doesn't quite get it
I'm-
there.
Just gonna take it from him and say, "You owe me
Thank
this
you.
one." Don't.
Convince for me, please. He's still a constable, regardless
Yeah.
of if you saved his life or not, and a whole bunch of weird stuff was just said that he probably has to report to the officials.
He's still a constable, but I'm still hungry.
Stop it.
Hmm.
Settle down.
Let's see, what do I got for convince? We got terrifying and indomitable, and that real nice outside easy kind of history teacher gene that's barely containing somebody who wants to punch him in the face. Yeah.
I think.
And we're gonna use aggressive behavior. as
Yeah,
well.
I was gonna say. I definitely feel there might be a bit of I'm going to hit your stomach a bit too hard grabbing this thing if you're not gonna listen.
Yep. Convince. Oh, God, he's dead. I've killed him.
Hmm.
Well, that isn't good.
No, that's not. You do have your move to react to what I say here if you decide to.
Yeah, which one did that go? Come on.
So what happens is the pencil that he's writing with, he's trying to put that in his chest as well, but as you try to grab, like, you hit the edge of it and you see it begin to like pierce into where his heart would be. Like, you're about to shove the pencil through
Yeah.
heart
Good
because
God.
he just reached out so
Jesus
fast.
Christ.
Sometimes William doesn't realize how fast he's going.
Well, let's not do that.
So yeah,
Make
you
an
like
additional
have this
move.
moment where you realize, whoa, I'm moving far faster than I need to. This guy's already hurt. And oh shit, my palm just kind of full pressed on that pencil. Is that blood coming from his chest?
I'm just gonna slap it out of his hand instead of digging it into his chest.
Okay, take the risk
Go
for
for-
me.
Go from a grab to a slap with some super speed. And hold on, there's a... when you take a risk with the power tags from this theme, it's dynamite.
Ooh.
So we're gonna use super speed.
Dynamite means that you get the extra cool stuff, like the extra tier of goodness. Is that right?
Yeah.
Pretty much means he could probably just grab it, even though he's slapping it away. Dynamite's gonna mean he's gonna slap it and palm it without the constable even knowing that he has it. Something cool like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we'll do that. And we'll use predict a foe's next move. Mm-hmm. So what is that? Hold on. Yeah, take a risk. Okay, taking a risk. Here we go. Let's not kill him. Yeah.
Hey, you somehow didn't kill him.
So you,
Man.
you begin to reach in, but you're able to turn your hand so you're not grabbing, you're slapping, and you just slap it away. And he like jerks back and looks to you, and you can tell for a moment he's about to say something, but then recognizes the situation and that he's not really in the position of power at the moment. Kind of pulls his hand back, and he's not going to take his notebook, but he might try to remember.
That's fine. The words of a raving cop who's been shot in the gut aren't as important as written words that, so it's okay. Uh-oh. What is that? That's not good. What is that?
So
Oh, it's just an email.
as you all, I assume pick up the constable, are you taking him back to the other constables and then heading away, or are you taking him elsewhere, or just leaving
They should
him for
probably
the
do
Silva
that.
to deal with?
No, we should probably take him back to the others.
Yeah, we'll take him back.
we could do with a little goodwill on the police department.
The constable there looks a bit confused, but is more concerned about his injured partner. So immediately rushes over to kind of grab him, just says a quick thanks. You all should clear out of here. It's not safe here. And
Got that right.
We know.
yeah, and takes him over to the wagon to prepare him to transport to a hospital. Back as we kind of begin to wrap up the night, but we'll head back over to Aster. A bit of time has passed. The men have been welcomed back into the parlor to begin discussions. You were able to peek in and saw that Sir James was back sitting, drinking and eating once more. He didn't seem to be as jolly, and it still has many questions about the device and what he just saw, but the fact that it just caused him that amount of reaction, surely this is a device that could cause the reactions of other things, so there's a bit of interest there. But the women have kind of gathered and are in the process of still kind of talking amongst themselves. You can tell there's a bit of boredom starting to wane over them as their husbands are having business talks. So what do we see Blanche doing?
Is she muted again? No?
Not sure.
Nope. She just did. Blanche has had too much to drink.
What happened?
Oh,
We're back at you.
Sorry, my headset cut out for a solid minute there, and I
Oh,
didn't realize
no
until I
worries.
realized you guys weren't talking anymore.
yeah. So the men have all entered into the parlor to kind of have a conversation, and the women are all kind of waiting for them to wrap up business talks outside. You've been able to see that the Duke is, or Sir James is, sitting, eating, and drinking as he was before, seeming to not be affected by what had just happened. And it does seem like the women are starting to get a bit bored as their husbands are discussing business. So what do we see Blanche doing as your brother and Tobias and the men are discussing business and the women are kind of just standing around drinking, talking?
If it seems like they're getting bored, Blanche would probably try to redirect their attention. Maybe, God, I don't know what a ladies' card game would have been at the time. God, I really don't.
Yeah.
Something
Hearts.
like bridge or
Bridge.
something like that,
Yeah.
out in the garden or something.
As they sit, they're a bit unfamiliar with you, so they might start asking some questions. How old are you? What do you do for fun? And eventually it gets into the real gossipy questions. Are there any men in your life? What is it about that brother of yours? He's quite dashing, isn't he?
It would be a lot of tactfully trying to answer without answering.
Mm-hmm.
Very political responses.
And at some point they might get a bit blunt. How long has it been since your parents died?
I think when we discussed it, they died when Blanche was 10, so it's been a solid 9-10 years. 9 or 10, yeah.
Your father must have done very well for himself then. Leave his children so much luxury in life. You must love it, don't you?
He did. It was, we were quite blessed.
Oh, of course. And your brother, he's quite successful, is he?
Yes. He invests. I don't ask too many questions about his business, though, of course.
Oh, of course. You must have a life of your own. What is it that you do for fun around here, beyond this beautiful garden?
Well, this is my passion, so to speak, but I recently helped open a library in the blue collar district.
Oh dear, that dreadful place. Why would you open such a thing there?
I wanted to ensure that children there had the opportunity to try and make their lives better.
Amongst all those dirty workers, aren't you worried you're going to be coated in grease and oil?
Oh, heavens no. We keep it quite clean.
I bet. I don't think anything can stay clean there. There's so many people always moving around. It's so noisy. I wish we could separate us just a bit more. I always thought the gated community was far too close. The wall needs to be much larger.
Oh, I think you could stand to be closer. It might do you well to learn how some of the other people in this city live.
Oh dear,
Show you
now
how
why
lucky
would I
you
need
are.
to care about that?
Well,
I
how
need to
else
care
can
for
you
my husband.
appreciate what you have?
Appreciate what I have? Well, it's far more than those in the blue-collar district will ever know of, so why bother myself with such petty things?
Well, that is my point, isn't it? If you'd never know how you could be living, you'll never truly appreciate how you are living. And I think it is on us as a social responsibility to help those who are less fortunate.
I see. Bit of a philanthropist, are you, then?
I like to think of it as a form of investment. I want
Oh, I see.
our
Looking
city.
to get the little workers to work for you? I can understand
No.
that. Why not?
I want our city to thrive, and that cannot happen without investment in future generations.
Oh,
My
to thrive
father
as
was-
it always has on the backs of those in the blue-collar district. We will ride upon them.
Well, interesting take, I suppose. A bit outdated, but interesting.
Tell me, Blanche, darling, I have this, I have this boy I know. You just must meet him. You'll come down to visit us at some point, and we'll set up a bit of a dinner date. He's just lovely. I think you and he would have so many things to speak of. He's a bit of a wandering mind when it comes to the less fortunate as well.
Well, send an invitation, and I shall hope that I am able to attend.
Of course, of course. I do hope they finish soon. It is getting to be quite a cloudy day.
Oh, you know how men are about their business. Mustn't rush them. They get uneased.
Oh, of course, of course. Kind of begin to look at their cards. The awkward silence begins to fall over them, not knowing exactly because the buttons they pushed didn't seem to actually cause a reaction that they were hoping. After a few minutes passes, you hear the parlor doors swing open again, and Tobias and Elijah kind of stand there, shaking the hands of the men as they're leaving. Elijah calls over to you to bring the wives.
I will do so. It seems our time has come to a close, ladies.
It has been delightful, dear. I do hope we see each other soon.
Likewise.
And they go to meet their husbands. Not a lot is said once they return. One by one, they leave. The banker leaves. The factory owner, the older man, leaves. Last one out is Sir James, and he stands there for a moment with his hand on Elijah, looking at him. I'm excited to see where you can go, boy. And you. sweet Blanche.
I would give a little polite curtsy.
You keep this boy centered.
I shall endeavor to do my best.
Well, do be sure not to forget about me. I will be back again
Oh, I do hope soon.
as soon as life allows. Elijah walks him out and has a bit of a conversation. There's you overhear again a few apologies, but Sir James just kind of laughs it off. No big deal. Bring his horse over, and Elijah offers to help him up on his horse, but of course not. He doesn't want help. And he gets up there. After a bit, it's a struggle, but he gets up there, and as soon as he does, he chuckles. He kicks his horse in the rib once more, and kind of hops up and whinnies, and he begins to ride off in the sunset. Elijah kind of turns, looks to Tobias. Tobias turns, looks to him. All right, he whistles, and the workers begin to clear up. Elijah comes up to you, kind of grabs your hand. That was an event.
It was, yes.
Couldn't have done it without you, sister. Still a lot to do tonight, so don't worry. I'll take care of the house. If there's anything you need to do today, you've done enough. The day is yours.
All right. Are you staying here? Are you leaving?
No, I'll be staying here. Tobias and I have a few things to discuss. Make sure everything gets packed up and put away, and I'll make sure the servants know what to do. Perhaps dinner a little bit later tonight.
Of course. I'll see to it that it's taken care of.
All right, very good. Yes.
Are we cooking for 2 or for 4?
Looks towards Tobias, and I think it might be best for the Hogans to return home. It'll just be us for tonight.
Excellent. And I'll squeeze his hand and go back inside. Start arranging for dinner.
As she goes to arrange dinner, we see the workers continue to pack everything away. You see Tobias and Nina kind of follow them out to the garden and see a conversation. For a moment, you see Nina kind of reach beneath Tobias's chin and kind of lift it up to meet her gaze, and there's a bit of disappointment. They have a brief conversation. They head back inside, continue to pack up and head off. So as we kind of wrap up the night, the Hogans kind of leave for the day, and the Astors enjoy a fairly quiet dinner. And Sunday kind of wraps to a close. So, yeah, go ahead and wrap up things here. We went a bit longer than normal. I think that's a good thing, now that we have many strings to tug upon. And,
yes.
So as we do, think about anyone that you might want to add a help or hurt point to. We will probably wrap up here. So thank you all for playing. Thank you anybody out there watching for watching on the YouTube. Feel free to download the starter set and all that stuff from the link. It is down there. And if there's any questions from you fine players, I will be around for a bit. But thank you all for playing tonight. I really do appreciate it. And for everybody watching, we will see you next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.